Business Locker Room. Great to have you on board with us, man. I got to tell you, I'm still taking notes from my conversation with Tom Ziglar. Make sure you check him out. If you're not following him on Twitter, you need to do that, at Tom Ziglar. Find him at Ziglar.com and the Facebook.com pages as well. Just a fantastic interview, and one that I'm sure we're going to be referencing in the future. Hey, this segment is the X's and O's segment, where we talk real-world tools for people in the business world, and that is brought to you, by the way, by the people whose tool we're going to review today. 4DSales, conceived back in 2012 by three guys who have over 80 years of sales and sales management experience, and they decided to take this technology that we're blessed with and leverage it into a tablet-based sales tool that's available in iPad and Windows 8 devices, and it really helps salespeople present information in a much more visually appealing way, a much more compelling way. And I've become a fan. I'm a user, and of course, we like to partner with people that we believe in. Having been in the sales and marketing business for 3 decades, I can tell you it's an easy-to-use tool, and it's going to bring all of your presentation materials together in one place. And we're going to talk at length about the 4DSales tool with Miles Austin, and he is the tool guru. Miles, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in this part of the world.
Yes, and great to have you on board. A week off for Memorial Day. I trust it was a good week for you.
It was fantastic. You know, I've got grandkids, Kelly, and I got to tell you, the Lord gave me a gift with those two little boys, and they're just a treasure.
You know, I like to think that salespeople of all ages, business people of all ages are listening to us, but, you know, we get too far down the path of talking about grandkids, we're going to lose audience. No, people can't understand it until they actually have a grandchild, and we've been blessed with our first as well. Well, let's talk 4DSales. This is a tool that I think really has the potential, Miles, to revolutionize the way people do sales calls. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, it really can. In fact, Kelly, I was introduced to the team at 4DSales through you and through the show. So thank you for that, because it's now a very important part of my arsenal and the coaching and the training and the things we write about. The core base of this, gang, is 4DSales will be a critical part of your tool bag if your team, your company, has made the decision to go start to leverage the power and the capability of some kind of a tablet, whether it's an iPad or a Windows Surface tablet today.
Right. Yeah, there's, you know, the old days, Miles, you and I would carry around a notebook, and it would, a briefcase, and we would have a lot of paper-based materials, collateral materials. We would have price lists and brochures and catalog sheets and every other thing in the world, and trying to organize that was hard enough. And it's even more difficult today just by the sheer size and immensity of what salespeople can possibly be carrying around. But all of that sort of falls by the wayside when you can collect it and organize it on a tablet device of some type.
Of course. I mean, what's really nice, I can't tell you, I'm sure Kelly have had the same experience. I was so proud in a sales call just a few years ago to pull out our newest, glossiest brochure on our new product or our new offering. And I realized after the fact that it's already outdated by a month, and there's no way to update it. So you literally had to go through on a regular basis and sort through that briefcase, or check all your PowerPoint slides and everything else. Whereas today, in a tablet-enabled Salesforce, you have the ability to walk in with whichever size you've chosen, whether they're minis or normal full-size tablets, and everything that would have any possible capability of coming up in a sales call is now right there, online, live, in a very, very attractive display.
Yeah, and if you're a sales manager or a business owner and you're listening to this, a VP of sales, one of the things you have to recognize is that salespeople come in a variety of abilities and motivations, and some people just don't seem to be quite as organized, Miles, as others. And you never know if they have the latest price list or the latest brochure, or if the slide deck's been updated. One of the things that this allows companies to do is to control the material that is available to their salespeople through a server-based application, so you can make sure everything is absolutely up to date, latest derivative of whatever brochure you're looking at, the videos, the web pages, the slide decks, all of those things, and they are interleaved collectively. It's not like you go from one app to the next. You can go from a website to a PDF to a video to a slide deck seamlessly I mean, this is really a powerful piece of software.
Well, it is, Kelly, and think about this. At least for me, one of the things that I've seen dramatically different now versus maybe even 2 years ago, and I'd love your thought on this. What do you think? And this is from two different organizations. What is the average sales appointment size? How many people are in that average typical sales appointment?
If I had to guess, I would say it probably hovers around 3 people.
Yeah, it actually is a little bit under 3. On an average, at least according to these two surveys, we're between 2.4 and 2.55. So I grabbed that to think, okay, I've been in many of those meetings when I had the 0.55 guy or gal that happened to be the decision maker. But right. Back to my point, here's what's really different, and it's one of the first things if you're new to tablet sales and using a tool like 4DSales, what they're giving you is a much more intimate experience. I mean, if you think about it, when you walk in and you're going to meet, a lot of times it's just you and the client, you and the buyer, right? And the ability to go fire up your laptop or dig through your briefcase, usually it's been laptops over the last few years, right? Our notebooks are what became the presentation tool. Well, what happens is that's kind of a cumbersome piece. And very frankly, how do you present when you've got a buyer on one side of the desk and you're on the other, and you want to show them some neat stuff? It's always an awkward dance, right?
Yes.
And so with a tablet, it literally, and it's one of the first things you'll find if you'll be new to tablets and tablet environments, it eliminates immediately that flip-up screen barrier between you and your customer or your client. It's gone. And what I found is, and it was whether I'm meeting with them in their office, in a conference room, or even at a local coffee shop, all of a sudden, I come around to their side of the table or desk, or they come around to mine, and we're sitting side by side. What a difference in the dynamics of that relationship and that communication session.
Absolutely right. And then the thing about the particular tool is I can hear people saying, well, Kelly, I can make those things available. I load it on their laptop, or even in a application like this one, we can put it in the cloud and this and that. The challenge is you have to go find those things individually. You have to wonder if they're current. With this tool, you just pull up the tool and everything is there right in front of you. It's so user-friendly and intuitive, Miles, that I found it to be remarkable to work with.
It is, and what's nice is a few of the key features I found from working with the guys. First of all, it's a great group of folks. Their technical capability, their design capability, their willingness to help you set it up. But on my screen, as an example, I've got 6 beautiful icons that are color coordinated with my logo, etc., for branding. I've got web tools, books, presentations, videos, clients, and what happens is I literally hand my iPad to my customer, to my client, or to my prospect. And I literally, when they ask a question, I'll hand it to them and say, why don't you tap the presentations icon? And I've already preloaded. If I've done my homework, I already know pretty much what I want to drive and the communication we want to have. And they do it. I'm no longer driving the presentation. And I'm serious. You watch their eyes light up. They now have the iPad. They touch it. And now they're flipping, as we're talking, through your actual PowerPoint slides. It is very powerful. Or maybe it's a contract. Maybe it's an agreement. Maybe there's some addendums you're working through. Maybe it's an org chart. Doesn't matter. Anything that is available online, or you have a document available to you in your company, can now be organized in a very professional, easy, one-touch access way through the tool that 4DSales provides to you. It's really, I'm telling you, it's beautiful looking, which is really key to be successful in a tablet app. It's all in one screen. It's all in one environment. You're not fumbling around and having to find where it is or go type in on that little keyboard to type in a new URL. It's all there, pre-linked, pre-done, set up for you to drive it.
Folks, we're talking about the 4DSales tool, and you want to pursue them at 4dsales.com. Make sure you use the Business Locker Room as a reference, because they're going to pay special attention to you when you do that. But we're talking about a lot of things. And the last point that kind of goes in that whole piece Miles, is that someone is looking at a price list or a brochure or even a PowerPoint slide or something you've prepared, and they say, boy, I'd like to have that. It's one touch, email it to them immediately. It makes you look so much more prepared, so much more credible, and the responsiveness from salespeople, which we know is absolutely critical in building a relationship, is highly improved in this environment.
It absolutely is. I tell you, as I said, and I do this a lot every day. I've done entire half-day workshops on enabling a sales team for iPads or for tablets, but primarily iPads in my practice. And I got to tell you, this one literally combines the best practices of all of my web presentation capabilities, of my collateral, my marketing collateral, my website, the ability to drill down in with the touch of my finger, not having to type anything in. It is just a phenomenally well thought out tool. The thing that became very clear to me, this was a tool designed by salespeople who have been salespeople and understand the day-to-day challenges that we all face.
Yeah, that's great stuff, Miles. Hey, we're going to have to call it a show. It's been a great one. You can find more about this tool at 4DSales.com or come online at bizlockerroom.com and make sure you check it out. As always, you can find Miles at fillthefunnel.com. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks to Tom Ziegler for joining us. Quite an honor. And Miles Austin, as always, for the X's and O's segment. And special thanks to 4D Sales. That's going to do it. We'll see you next week in the Business Locker Room.
Thanks for joining the Business Locker Room with your host, Kelly Riggs. Kelly will be back again next week for more business building content and conversation for your playbook. Tune in Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Business Channel for another edition of the Business Locker Room. Remember, business is a competition. Play to win.